Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The immaterial part of a person. The actuating cause of an individual life. Deep feeling or emotion. A human being. A secular form of gospel that was a major black musical genre in the 1960s and 1970s. Soul was politically significant during the civil rights movement. The human embodiment of something. The soul of honor. That which is responsible for one's thoughts, feelings, and conscious brain functions. The seat of the faculty of reason. The immaterial part of a person. The actuating cause of an individual life. Greek mythology. A beautiful princess loved by Cupid who visited her at night and told her she must not try to see him, became the personification of the soul. Deep feeling or emotion. Characteristic of or meant for a single person or thing. An individual serving. Being or characteristic of a single thing or person. Individual drops of rain. A human being. Separate and distinct from others of the same kind. Mark the individual pages. Concerning one person exclusively. We all have individual cars. A single organism. Causing or capable of causing death. Mortal combat. A human being. Involving loss of divine grace or spiritual death. Subject to death. Mortal beings. Unrelenting and deadly. Mortal enemy. A human being. There was too much for one person to do. A grammatical category used in the classification of pronouns, possessive determiners, and verb forms according to whether they indicate the speaker, the addressee, or a third party. Stop talking about yourself in the third person. A human body, usually including the clothing. A weapon was hidden on his person. A human being. A human being. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. Any incorporeal supernatural being that can become visible, or audible, to human beings. Infuse with spirit. The company spirited him up. Animation and energy in action or expression. The state of a person's emotions, especially with regard to pleasure or dejection. He was in good spirits. An inclination or tendency of a certain kind. The intended meaning of a communication. A fundamental emotional and activating principle determining one's character. The vital principle or animating force within living things. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. An intuitive understanding of something. He had a great feeling for music. A vague idea in which some confidence is placed. What are your feelings about the crisis? The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. The surface had a greasy feeling. A physical sensation that you experience. He had a queasy feeling. The experiencing of affective and emotional states. She had a feeling of euphoria. Any entity that produces an effect or is responsible for events or results. Give rise to. Cause to happen or occur, not always intentionally. Cause a commotion. A comprehensive term for any proceeding in a court of law whereby an individual seeks a legal remedy. Cause to do. Cause to act in a specified manner. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. They worked in the cause of world peace. A justification for something existing or happening. He had no cause to complain. Events that provide the generative force that is the origin of something. They are trying to determine the cause of the crash. The state or fact of existing. A point of view gradually coming into being. A living thing that has, or can develop, the ability to act or function independently. A living thing that has, or can develop, the ability to act or function independently. A system considered analogous in structure or function to a living body. The social organism. Any entity that produces an effect or is responsible for events or results. Any entity that produces an effect or is responsible for events or results. Music created by African American musicians. Early forms were songs that had a melodic line and a strong rhythmic beat with repeated choruses. Music created by African American musicians. Early forms were songs that had a melodic line and a strong rhythmic beat with repeated choruses. The 4 books in the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that tell the story of Christ's life and teachings. Folk music consisting of a genre of a cappella music originating with black slaves in the United States and featuring call and response, influential on the development of other genres of popular music, especially soul. The written body of teachings of a religious group that are generally accepted by that group. An unquestionable truth. His word was gospel. A doctrine that is believed to be of great importance. Newton's writings were gospel for those who followed. Folk music consisting of a genre of a cappella music originating with black slaves in the United States and featuring call and response, influential on the development of other genres of popular music, especially soul. A new personification of a familiar idea. The embodiment of hope. A concrete representation of an otherwise nebulous concept. A circle was the embodiment of his concept of life. Giving concrete form to an abstract concept. Haunt like a ghost. Pursue. Write for someone else. How many books have you ghostwritten so far? A suggestion of some quality. He detected a ghost of a smile on her face. A mental representation of some haunting experience. He looked like he had seen a ghost. A writer who gives the credit of authorship to someone else. Move like a ghost. The masked men ghosted across the moonlit yard. The visible disembodied soul of a dead person. A person who refrains from drinking intoxicating beverages. Someone who practices self-denial as a spiritual discipline. Self-restraining. Not indulging an appetite especially for food or drink. Not totally abstinent but abstemious. A person who refrains from drinking intoxicating beverages. A person with a record of successes. His son would never be the achiever that his father was. Personal knowledge or information about someone or something. A person with whom you are acquainted. I have trouble remembering the names of all my acquaintances. A relationship less intimate than friendship. A credit card processing bank. Merchants receive credit for credit card receipts less a processing fee. A corporation gaining financial control over another corporation or financial institution through a payment in cash or an exchange of stock. A person who acquires something, usually permanently. The financial institution that dispenses cash in automated teller machines and collects a fee from the bank that issued the credit card. Engaged in or ready for military or naval operations. On active duty. Chemical agent capable of activity. Used of verbs, e.g., to run, and participial adjectives, e.g., running, in, running water, expressing action rather than a state of being. Taking part in an activity. An active member of the club. In operation. An active tradition. The voice used to indicate that the grammatical subject of the verb is performing the action or causing the happening denoted by the verb. The boy threw the ball, uses the active voice. A person who is a participating member of an organization. The club issues a list of members, both the actives and the retirees. Characterized by energetic activity. An active toddler. Disposed to take action or effectuate change. A director who takes an active interest in corporate operations. Engaged in full-time work. Active duty. Exerting influence or producing a change or effect. An active ingredient. Expressing that the subject of the sentence has the semantic function of actor. Hemingway favors active constructions. Full of activity or engaged in continuous activity. An active seaport. Of e.g. volcanoes, capable of erupting. Of e.g. volcanoes, erupting or liable to erupt. Active volcanoes. Of the sun, characterized by an increased occurrence of sunspots and flares and radio emissions. Tending to become more severe or wider in scope. Active tuberculosis. A person who acts and gets things done. He's a principal actor in this affair. A theatrical performer. A person who studies and settles conflicts and disputes. Someone who admires a young woman. She had many admirers. A person who backs a politician or a team, etc. A person who admires. Someone who esteems or respects or approves. Someone, such as a child, who has been adopted.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.